What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about how us, the United States, how we can repair our relationship with Canada. If that's still even possible, honestly. So today, I want to take a look at this Reddit discussion where somebody asked, what does the United States have to do to repair its relationship with Canada? Whether it be the government or the people or maybe both. So, as an American who has been pretty critical of what the United States is currently doing to Canada, I really wanted to take a look at this discussion because this is literally something that I personally have been wondering in a lot of my videos. I've been asking this. Even if the trade war stops and the tariffs come to an end, the damage is done. I mean, the trust is broken. And I've heard this in a lot of the comments on my videos from Canadians out there. I've heard this sentiment, and uh, man, the trust really is broken. And I'm just wondering, what can the United States, what can we do to salvage our relationship with Canada at this point? I mean, if you're gonna make an analogy, it's like your friend came up to you in school and just slapped you in the face. And they're like, then like 2 months later, they're like, sorry about that. It's all good, right? We're good. It's like, no, no, it's not. You're always going to think they're cruel and weird and unreliable and untrustworthy and like aggressive, and you're going to always think these things about your friend. You're going to be like, I didn't know they were capable of that. I see them in a different light now. And I feel like that's kind of the analogy for what's happened here. In this analogy, I guess Canada, you're also like slapping back at us, but that makes perfect sense because we instigated the fight. And I guess in this analogy, there is a possibility in 4 years that your friend's brain can be like kicked out of office, and you can elect a different brain into your friend's office. The analogy really falls apart when you get too detailed, but let's take a look at some of the comments that Canadians out there you've said about this. What can the United States, which includes me as an American, what can we do to repair our relationship with Canada moving into the future? Should this ever be, finally put behind us, God willing. So you say, well, you see, it's sort of like asking your cheating spouse to un-F someone. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm desperately trying to put myself into the mindset of Canadians. I've said this, it's strange as an American. I'm experiencing all of this as an American. From my point of view, my government is doing this to Canada and other countries, honestly. But it's kind of unique. It feels unique with Canada because we've had such a wonderful relationship for so long, and we get such a great benefit from Canada, and everyone like loves Canadian people. And so somehow the trade war with Canada specifically really like irks me almost more than any other. Like it's bad that we're also doing things to other countries, but this really irks me specifically. So I totally get it. It's like asking your cheating spouse to undo that. Like you can't. It's done. You'll always think that of them. And that, yeah, some people can get past that. Like props to them. Like some people like have spouses that are unfaithful, and they forgive them and move on and live happy, loving lives, and that's possible. I just don't know if it's possible in this situation. This is a perfect analogy. Could not agree more. LOL. Yeah, yeah. Okay, another Canadian response to this is wait for a generation or two to pass by. Threatening to wipe Canada off the map isn't something that can be made up for by a sorry about that Trump guy. I think that's something I needed to read. I needed to hear that. I think a lot of Americans need to hear this. Like, truly need to understand this because a lot of I'm trying to put myself in Canadians' shoes, and this is helping a lot. Most Americans are not even putting in this effort to really understand. At best, some Americans are like, the trade war is bad, and tariffs are bad, and it's real bad what we're doing. And that's about it. But more Americans really need to take it a step further and be like, the ramifications of all this, put aside the economic stuff, the relationships that America has built with Canada and other countries, those relationships are getting destroyed, like dragged through the mud. And I think that specifically is something most Americans are really not thinking about. Thinking more about the economic ramifications, but what about the relationship aspect of that? Yeah. So, as going back to what this Canadian said, that I thought this was pretty profound. Like, you guys want to just wait for generations of Americans to just live and die so you can just move on to clean slate? That's what it would take? I get it. That's real sad. So I'll be dead for like 100 or 200 more years by the time you guys forgive us for this. Like, okay, come to my grave of Tyler Bucket and say, we forgive you. It wasn't me. Wait, I didn't do the tariffs, but that's not an excuse, really, because, I mean, this Canadian is saying specifically, it's not enough to be, hey, we're sorry about that Trump guy. So specifically, you're mad at the American government, Donald Trump specifically, for these policies, and you're mad at Americans who elected Donald Trump into office. The American people put that idiot into power, not once, but twice. The most recent time having seen him attempt to retain power in an attempted coup in 2021. That was the all the crowd and attacking the U.S. Capitol and getting inside and wearing Viking helmets, and that was insane. People, like, I think Americans are still somehow digesting what that was and what that meant, even though it doesn't take too much brain power to like assess what that was outrageously bad and many other things. Yeah, and it's clear to me that it's much, I don't know. I was going to say, I think it's easier for Americans to understand why Donald Trump has found himself elected president of the United States. As an American, since I live here, I live our culture and what we talk about and what we worry about and our news and our and all that. And like I've seen the reasons why Donald Trump has been elected. And I think in the simplest terms, I know this is not a good or adequate explanation. In the simplest terms, it's always been because the majority of Americans, well, one time he didn't win the popular vote, just the Electoral College, but so it's not necessarily the majority of Americans, but this last election, it was because the majority of Americans wanted extreme change. That's the easiest way of putting it. Whether you think that means we put an idiot into power like that, okay, that's fair. Like, I totally get that. I'm not saying I condone it or anything. That I'm for or against. I'm not going to step into all that, but I'm just trying to explain, because I think Canadians probably find that interesting to hear, why. I can see from the outside point of view, you're probably like, why are you keep electing him? He's got the weird hair. And it's like, whether you agree or disagree with those political reasons, that's totally valid. And, I totally get why people think the things they do. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. I think I'm trying to dance around being absolutely obliterated with the politics and whatnot. So I'm gonna leave that at that for now. This kind of stuff isn't easily forgiven, and a people that would allow that to happen can't be trusted to not do something similar in another 4 or 8 years. Absolutely, totally get it. Like all Canada can do is what any rational or logical people would do, and that is to take us at what we do and what we say. Canada, all you can do is look at what America is saying and what we are doing and react to that and take us at our word. And right now, the word of the voice of the American people and American government is threatening to destroy Canada economically, threatening to, I mean, based on some of the things that have been said, like borderline invade Canada. I was so skeptical of that at first. Like, come on, like, we're not trying to take over Canada. But it's like, there's been more than a few, like, times where Donald Trump and our government has been like, we want Canada. You will be our 51st state. Or we will destroy your country, your economy. And it's like, geez, that's extremely disturbing. So yeah, what they were saying this by threatening to wipe Canada off the map, which is basically saying, annex Canada, take it over. Don't know how that's like, and the means from which that's supposed to happen. Yeah, it's all very scary and disturbing. As an American, I'm open to saying that for sure. Very, very bad that is at all being said. This kind of stuff isn't easily forgiven, and we can't be trusted, and America can't be trusted 4 years or 8 years down the line. This is what I was kind of getting at, where I was like, well, if Donald Trump, works the rest of his term and leaves office, and someone else gets put into office, is that going to be enough for Canadians to start wanting to repair the U.S.-Canada relationship? I don't know. Hopefully, but this Canadian, and I know that this individual Canadian doesn't speak for all Canadians, but this was voted real highly in this discussion, so that's why I'm kind of going with this for a bit. And taking this seriously is, no, just because we elect another leader does not necessarily mean that the trust is going to immediately come back. The trust is broken, the relationship is destroyed, and Americans of all political stripes will have to understand it and wear it. I don't think Americans understand that yet. Bang on. Frankly, it's going to take decades, maybe longer. Oh my God. Wow. This hurts to hear. I'm not going to lie. It really, yeah. It hurts to hear. This is very real. It's getting too real. It's too real. It's going to take decades to repair the relationship. Part of me was just hoping, like, naively hoping that when the trade war ended, assuming it ends, and enough time goes by, and America can demonstrate that we're rational people, that the relationship could be repaired. But it's like the friend that slapped you randomly for no reason. Like, when would you ever truly 100% trust them again? That would be very, 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 very hard. Canadians are pissed enough that they're going to be telling their children about this. And we aren't even feeling the effects of the tariffs or annexation attempts yet. Right, it's crazy. Not even that much time has gone by. And it takes some time for some of the economic trickle-down effects of all these policies to actually really start taking effect. It does take time. So that's yet to be seen. The betrayal we're feeling won't pass for a very long time. Crazy. A 150-year relationship took 2 months to tear down. But that's where we're at. That is so sad. This is making me sad, this converse. But Sometimes you gotta feel sad if you do bad things. If you do bad, I'm laughing because it's like, I still, part of me is like, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. It's like, I am American. I am part of the United States. So I can say, yeah, what we've done to Canada, for sure. Oh, step one, no longer have Trump as a president. Okay, so these are this. Okay, here we go. This is what we need, the step-by-step guide for how the United States can repair our relationship with Canada. Someone wrote a step-by-step guide. This is wonderful. Perfect. This will work for sure. Step one, no longer have Trump as president. Okay, that will be many years. Step two, move away from the ignorance and hatred that caused people to vote Trump in. Okay, certainly there's a lot of ignorance. That's like the fact that Trump was voted in, and he was vocally, very very vocally advocating for these tariffs against Canada, and very very like vocal and open about wanting to start a trade war with Canada. He said that plenty of times before he was voted as president, and he was voted president. So yeah. Step three, wait 25 or more years. So the Canadians with purchasing power don't remember what the United States did to Canada in 2025. Seriously. I really don't think enough Americans realize how big of a wound this is, how much of a scar this has created, how much time this is going to take. I think a lot of Americans genuinely think, well, once the tariffs go away, it's all going to be good. It'll all be good. Whatever, we'll just let bygones be bygones. Canadians will just go back to not caring and buying our stuff. And it's like, haven't you ever had somebody in your life do something that totally violated your trust and totally lost your respect? That's what's happened. I don't think Americans realize that. Sorry, step three should be admits that Canada is better at hockey. Never mind. Never mind. This will never be settled. We'll never admit it. Okay, you're better at hockey, and then wait 25 years. Jeez. So a lot of Canadians commenting here, these Canadians are saying, first and foremost, change our government and wait a really, really long time. That's the prevailing sentiment so far. It would be extremely difficult and time-consuming for the U.S. to repair our relationship with Canada. Obviously, there's the simple answer of remove Trump from office, but I don't think that would do it. I feel many Canadians have come to realize Trump is a product of American culture. Yes, that's one way of saying it, for sure. Another way of looking at it would be Americans don't care what happens to the rest of the world, and Americans only care, like, what they think is good for America. What Americans think is good for America. I'm not saying electing Donald Trump is good for America. I'm saying the majority of Americans believe electing Donald Trump would be good for America. That is what they believe, and that is why they did it. And so that is the product of American culture. Yes, that is all true. Anything else here? We feel frustrated, even at progressive Americans who seem to be unable to understand why we are angry. Yep. I don't really see a path to restore the friendship we once shared. There are many cultural changes in America. Yeah, I mean, I've done videos in the past, like, what do Canadians think about Americans? And it was always like very almost like brotherly joking around, like, oh, those Americans, they're really loud and annoying. They're kind of ignorant too, but I've run into a bunch that are like nice people, and America's got its own culture. It's not Canadian culture, but we get along, and and Canada's done a lot of stuff for America. That's what it used to be. Now it's like What do Canadians think of Americans? Just poorly, just bad. You just think like Americans are just bad and dumb for having created this situation. And I get that. Uh, my heart goes out to my American brothers and sisters. I know there's millions of amazing Americans who do embody values similar to Canada. That's nice. That's nice that they included that because I think that's true. Okay. Man, sadly, it looks like, if I'm being honest, based on this, this is a short discussion that we looked at. Based on this, most of the Canadians here were saying there's no repairing the relationship between Canada and the United States. Like that is a pipe dream. That is a fantasy. Maybe if enough time goes by and America makes the correct changes and proves itself, maybe after a very long time, something like a relationship can form again, but it won't ever really be exactly the same unless everybody just forgets about it, maybe in like 200 years. Um, that's basically what I got out of this, which is really disheartening to hear, but sometimes things are, disheartening, and that's the reality. Like, just because it's sad doesn't mean it's not true. Like that we have to face facts. More Americans need to get this reality check and face the facts of what we've done. Yeah, this was sad, but I do feel like it was productive and good to hear this, the Canadian perspective on this. I did enjoy that. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on how the United States can repair, how we can repair our relationship with Canada. I'm sure there's a lot of Canadians out there that you could give your opinion on this, and that'd be awesome to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.